What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be working on this 1962 Ford Galaxie. Something a little bit different in the shop today. We're going to be tearing it apart and getting it engine swapped. The owner wants to get rid of the old tired Y-block engine that's in there, update it to a modern small block. It's actually going to be a 351 Windsor. We're going to be upgrading the transmission as well. So me and Miguel are going to get started tearing into it. To get this engine pulled out, like I said, we're going to be installing a small block 351 Windsor. It got towed in. I'm not sure the description of why it's getting pulled out, but it was smoking pretty bad, so I know it's burning oil. I don't know if it's from the valve guides or the piston rings or where it's coming from, but it seems really tired, and it's definitely the original engine. So first thing we're going to do is start with disassembly, get it up on the lift, start pulling apart the underside, get the drivetrain removed, and ready for the new engine. So Miguel and I are going to get this engine removed.
Yes, sir. Let's start the battery, then the radiator, and let's see.
All right, we've got the engine out. After we got the engine out, the new engine has showed up. Miguel's over here breaking down the crate. Like I had mentioned earlier in the video, we've got ourselves a nice 351 cubic inch Ford small block Windsor. I believe we're gonna be putting an AOD transmission behind this thing. The Cruise-O-Matic transmission that comes in these 60s Fords will not bolt up to the block on this thing, so an upgrade is necessary. We've also been coming up with a couple other parts that we're gonna have to be changing. You saw in the video, this engine was already fuel injected. So it had an FI Tech fuel injection unit bolted to the intake manifold. That's no longer gonna work for us either. It was just a small 2-barrel. With the Windsor, we're gonna be making a little bit more power, so we're gonna need some more fueling. So we're gonna be going with a 4-barrel FI Tech unit. And luckily they're a plug-and-play unit that's going to be able to be upgraded from the 2-barrel to a 4-barrel, and we're going to be able to maintain the entire control side of the system. So that means all the electronics, the fan control, the ignition control, and the fuel injectors will all be able to be run by the original system. So that's a plus. We're going to need some other parts, engine mounts, exhaust system, new drive shaft, and things like that. So we're gonna get our list together, start breaking that down. Also, we're gonna clean this up a little bit and make it look a little bit nicer before we get the engine thrown back in. So let's get to work. We just gave the engine bay of the Galaxie a nice pressure washing and cleaned off all the grease and grime from all them years from 1962. Next thing we're gonna do is get the engine bay scuffed up, and we're gonna clean up some of the paint and give it a little bit of a facelift. So Miguel's been working on scuffing all of our paint on our chassis and the firewall. As you can see, it was very thin paint down there, and it was pretty ugly looking. We've got a little bit of fuel dribbling over here. Had some heavy rust in some areas on the chassis, and we're gonna clean all that up. So getting it ready for a fresh coat of paint. We're gonna mask all the paint off, the red paint, the exterior body paint, as well as some of the wiring and the hosing. We're gonna go ahead and freshen it up with some nice black paint and get it ready before we drop in the new 351 Windsor engine. We've got a bunch of parts on order, so as soon as those get here, we'll start putting them on the engine, and then we'll get it rested into place. right, so we've got the engine bay nice and prepped up. Miguel did a great job scuffing all the old paint. We've got a lot of the crud down, a lot of the heavy grime off of it, and then we went ahead and taped off all the stuff that all the areas we're not going to be painting. We're going to be using just some basic low gloss black. We're going to be covering all the chassis parts underneath here in the engine bay, our inner fender liners, as well as the firewall. And you can see we've got all our wiring, our brake booster, and hosing protected so we're not getting a bunch of overspray on it, as well as the full exterior of the car. So Miguel's got his paint mixing up right now, and we're gonna get this thing sprayed down, give it a chance to dry, and it'll be amazing. You can see the engine bay is looking nice and freshened up. We've got our drivetrain pulled and the engine bay cleaned up with a nice coat of paint. It's been degreased and prepped, been sprayed, and it's looking ready for our new engine. Like I'd mentioned before, we're gonna be putting in a 351 Windsor small block Ford. And just like any other swap, they don't just drop in. I wish it did, but you know, there's some work that we're gonna have to do to get it to fit properly in this engine bay. So did my research and gathered a handful of parts that are going to be able to help me get this engine installed pretty easily. Typical things like engine oil pan, engine oil mounts, exhaust system, and intakes are typically what you have to consider when you're swapping an engine into a different chassis. So we considered all those things, and we pulled the trigger on a handful of parts after doing some research. So we went ahead and got ourselves a nice front sump oil pan, because the original sump design on this is actually a rear sump. So it's actually a front mounted engine oil pump that has a pickup tube that runs to the back, and typically they have the drain in the front and the back. These engines came in Broncos, pickup trucks, Mustangs, all kinds of different things. So a lot of different oil pan options are out there, but we ended up going with a street strip drag pan, 7 quarts, and it's front sump. So we had to change the pickup location. As you can see here, this is actually a wind pan, I believe, yeah. Sticker, yeah, there it is. So it's pretty excessive, you know. We don't need the massive amount of capacity because this isn't like a high performance engine, but you know, it fits, so we're using it. When it comes to the engine mounts are relatively easy as well. These are actually Fox Body Mustang engine mounts. So you can see here on the cross member, we have to clear, and it's also got all the steering. It's got power assist steering with the hydraulic ram in the back. So this is the reasoning we had to use our front sump oil pan to get away from everything over there. So between the engine oil pan and these engine mounts, we've got an engine that fits just right. And to go along with that, we've got an exhaust system that we had to think about. So went ahead and got some exhaust manifolds. These are some Flowtech manifolds that we got from Summit. These are actually off of a Ford Lightning. So mid-90s Ford Lightning. I believe it was an 8th gen F-150s or 9th gen. Exhaust manifolds on that. I'm pretty sure they're gonna fit. I did test fit them on the engine sitting in there already, so I'm pretty sure they're gonna fit. But we've also got a nice front drive kit from CVF. Trick flow intake manifold that's very overkill for what we're doing because we're not really looking to make big numbers. If we did have some really nice heads, this got some pretty big ports, so it'd be flowing real well. But got some other small parts, some cool valve covers, got a ready to run distributor for this thing, dipstick, and that's pretty much round off all the parts that are going to be used to get this thing installed. There's going to be some plumbing changes, obviously upper and lower radiator hoses. We're going to have to adapt all of our accessories like the power steering pump and the AC compressor as well to the original lines that are here, as well as our fuel delivery. Along with getting the engine in, we're going to have to do some plumbing stuff as well. We got a lot of work to do. I'm going to start with getting this engine oil pan on there and the engine mount so we can get it dropped down in there. All right, so Got the engine oil pan installed on the engine. The intake manifold was a little bit different than what I expected. We've already got this thing over here on the mill. We're just doing some drilling and tapping. Nothing crazy, but the manifold was intended, well, it is an EFI style manifold intended to get fuel rails and sequential fuel injection. So one injector per hole. But we had a last minute change of plans with the fuel injection system that we were going to be using. We had another brand in mind, and then we ended up sticking with the brand that's already in the car. Even though the actual bolt-on module was different, the control side of it was the same, so all the wiring and everything would be able to remain in the car. So last minute we changed the EFI, so it's no longer a sequential style, it's throttle body style. So what I have to do is plug off each one of these individual injector holes on each of the runners on our intake. Luckily, Arton has brought in some heavy machinery, and we're able to do so in a really quick and tidy manner. So drilling these holes out for a 3/8 NPT, tapping them, and then we'll have our holes plugged, and we continue moving forward with our throttle body mounted fuel injection with no problems. So we get this done, and then we'll get back on to getting the engine installed. All right, so we've got the intake manifold on after a little bit of misfitment. We ended up machining this edge here, if you could see, but you see the spacing that's there now. Before, it hung over and didn't allow us to drop it down into the valley, and we couldn't seal down here. So we pulled it back off. Luckily, we were able to use the same silicone. I really didn't want to have to redo all that, but got it back on. Everything's sealed up, so pretty excited. Now we're gonna fit this thing in the car, because now we have the intake manifold on it, oil pan on it, and now it's time to start putting everything else on. I can't complete the install of our accessory drive kit, but I think I might want to put it on before it goes into the engine bay. It'll probably be a little bit easier while it's down here, so I'm not reaching into the car. So let's move forward. All right, I've got the front accessory drive kit from CVF all opened up, and now it's time to get it assembled. It's a nice kit like you'd expect from a top tier company. Awesome billet mounting for everything. It uses this one large universal bracket that bolts onto the outside of the water pump, which is also included in the kit. Tensioners, belts, hardware, all these beautiful billet pulleys, covers, idlers, power steering pump, and in the bottom of the box, I have to put all the trash in, but there's still an alternator and an air conditioning compressor for R134A. So still have to get all this stuff assembled and installed on the engine. So we'll start getting that piece together. And once all this stuff is done, then I will be able to drop it in for the last time. After that, we'll bolt on the headers. Once that happens, we'll mate our exhaust system. I've already cut off the original flanges, as you can see here. Chop these guys off. They're in a slightly different location for both sides, so we'll have to make some small changes there. But that's about it. It's going along pretty well. So really, it's just time to get to work. All right, our all billet CVF accessory drive kit is installed. Like I mentioned earlier, I'm still waiting on a crank dampener pulley, which will be here tomorrow, so I can finally put this pulley on, the lower pulley for the crank. And then I have this little cover for our belt tensioner. So these 3 items are not going to go on just yet, but I am going to put it into the engine bay so we can keep moving forward. Like I said, I have to get the exhaust manifolds in after we drop the engine in. So I think for today, we'll get this dropped in, mount the exhaust manifolds, and then tomorrow when the dampener comes in, we'll finish this, get the belt on, and then we'll start moving into getting all the plumbing situated. New upper and lower radiator hoses, as well as modifying the air conditioning liquid line and suction hose, and both hoses for the power steering, the high pressure and the return. There's a couple other small things like adding sensors into the engine block that are used for our EFI system. It also has a Dakota digital gauge cluster, so I have to add a digital oil pressure sensor and an electronic coolant temp sensor so we can give that information to the gauge cluster. So, like I said, just about ready to get this dropped in. Let me get everything set up and get the engine hoist over here so we can continue on. Engine is in its final resting place. We still do not have a transmission, so I'm going to put some wood blocks underneath the steering components, or underneath the oil pan on top of the steering, so the engine doesn't fall back towards the firewall. But it's in. Like I had mentioned, we had a little bit of change of heart with the EFI system, so we're no longer using a port injection system, so I ended up having to drill and tap out all the holes for the injectors. One positive thing, now we're ready to put some direct port nitrous in this thing, because look at the threads here. Cool. That's not happening, but could if you wanted to. All right, guys, now we've got the 62 Galaxie drivetrain out and the new 351 Windsor installed. A lot of the heavy lifting is complete, but as you can see behind me, we've got a lot more already installed into the engine, and that's because on the next episode, you're gonna see us do all the work to get this thing running, from tucking our radiator to installing the induction system, our distributor, and all the other parts that are going to complete this swap. So make sure you guys subscribe to the channel if you're not already, so you can follow on in the next episode and see this thing come to completion. Make sure you guys comment and like, and we'll see you on the next episode.